Welcome back now for our market analysis segment, which is actually the last segment of the program. Toba Gamete, the Treasury Sales Manager at Nedbank, joins me in studio. Very good afternoon to you, Gamete, and thank you so much for coming through of late. Well, today, actually, the observation is that the rand is performing quite well. Not sure if this is or could mean that the dollar is to decline sooner than expected, but really, what's driving this performance?
All right, good afternoon, and thank you for having me, Notsile. So yes, the rand is doing quite well today, but more than anything, it's dollar weakness. It's driven by dollar weakness, but it's overall just doing well against all major currencies. So mainly what's happening today is that we expect the Fed's governor, Jerome Powell, to make an announcement or deliver a speech regarding interest rates. So we expect to see the U.S. cutting rates by 25 basis points. So that is what the market is anticipating. So that is sort of then driven the weakness that we are seeing in the dollar. In addition to that, there's also just the dollar has lost ground because of sentiments as well, like around the easing of tensions between the U.S. and China. We expect President Trump and the President of China to have a meeting tomorrow. So from that, we expect that some sort of trade agreement will sort of come out. So those are the two factors that are driving the dollar weakness that we're seeing in the market.
Given that much anticipated meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, I know that China has made a couple of demands, one of which is tariff reduction and the U.S. restrictions on Chinese access to NVIDIA chips. How could we see this playing out?
So, yeah, there is quite a lot of expectations, but I think what would be key, or what would really drive the needle, will be maybe a joint statement that we can see that says that A, B, C, and D is going to happen. But it can still, go either way. But we do expect that it's going to be a smoother interaction or engagement compared to what we've seen before. But I think what would really drive markets would be probably a concrete outcome that says tariffs have been reduced here, this can be exported, and so forth. Yes.
Now let's get into equities, perhaps. I'll start off with NVIDIA that surged towards a $5 trillion US dollar valuation. Any market or investor sentiment around that?
So investors have taken that quite well. Overall, the tech sector is sort of performing well, and has driven the numbers that we're seeing on the S&P 500, up 0.23%. So it's due to a number of things. It's earnings reporting. We're expecting to see 3 more tech giants today reporting their earnings. That is Meta, that is Alphabet, as well as Microsoft. But more than anything, what the market is looking for is more than just solid performance numbers. I think what the market now wants is a clear indication that AI monetization is going to be sustained, and that AI demand is going to be sustained. It's not just a boom that is going to die down. That is what the market is looking for when it comes to the tech companies, but they are growing exponentially. So we expect to then see what the other 3 that are reporting today are going to report, but we expect good numbers.
Right. Given the FTSE and the JSE All-Share Index, I see it's all green. What's happening in that regard?
So it's mostly the same in terms of the FTSE. It goes back to the rate decision that is expected later today. So investors then, with the expectation that rates are going to be cut, then move into riskier assets, because the interest yielding assets are sort of not an ideal investment option. So we do then see them flocking into your stocks and all of that. So that is what has also driven the price, or the price of the FTSE. And then when it comes to the JSE, it's a number of things. It's the economic outlook of South Africa. It is the price of gold. We've seen gold, sort of climbing up again after taking a knock yesterday. So all of that is contributing to what we see from a South African perspective.
Speaking of gold, let's have a look at our commodities. Are we still yet to see, a sharper spike when it comes to gold, or the performance is yet to stabilize?
So gold has sort of been, I think, it's sort of been more volatile than we've seen it before. Yesterday it dropped to about 3,800 and some change dollars per ounce, but we've seen it bounce back today to the levels that we're seeing above 4,000 again. That is due to a number of things. When the dip happened, we saw some central banks piling up, buying more gold. We're also Another factor is obviously the interest rate cut. Gold tends to do well when rates are lower. So we do then expect to see the price of gold continue to increase. It's a significant increase, 1.88%, that we are seeing from the dip that we saw yesterday.
Right.
So just to answer you, it's a little bit more volatile than we are used to. But yeah, we shall see.
Right. Okay.
Yes. But I just wanted to comment on oil as well.
Yeah.
Which is sort of steady, but what is driving that from that perspective is the anticipation of a trade deal between the two biggest consumers of oil, the US and China. So the market is anticipating that if there is a truce there, then it means demand for oil is going to increase, production is going to increase. So within that's pushing up the price of oil.
Right. When we started earlier, we talked about how the rand is performing well today. So let's take a look at some of our currencies. How is the rand performing actually against some of the world's leading currencies?
Okay. Yeah, so the rand is doing quite well against all of the major currencies. On average, about 35%, about 0.35% across the three currencies. It's 17.1025 against the US dollar, 19.9175 against the euro. We haven't seen 19 in a couple of weeks, I would say. So that's some good number from the rand. 22.6050 against the pound. So it is doing quite well, driven by the interest rate announcement that's coming up, as well as just sentiments. I think if the market is more accepting of risk, then they tend to then look at emerging markets for investment, hence driving what we are seeing.
How long can we see the rand keeping up this impressive performance against some of the other currencies?
You know, with FX, it's never easy to tell. You never really know. But so far, the outlook is looking quite good for the rand.
Right.
We are likely, probably in the short term, going to see a bit more strengthening that's happening. I think global sentiments are also favoring the rand as compared to major currencies. So we're not sure how long this rally is going to take, right. But so far the trend that we are seeing is rand strength.
Right. Toba, thank you very much for that analysis. That was Toba Kamete, Treasury Sales Manager at Nedbank, helping us make sense of what is making the day's trade. The show continues. Actually, my colleague and I will be wrapping it up after this.